Medical investigation is confirming that many common diseases, such as diabetes and cancer, may be closely linked to metabolic dysfunction caused by poor diet and inactivity. We are also beginning to collect evidence that cannabis contains potent homeostatic regulators that can help balance and maintain metabolism. Its constituents interact with the body's own endocannabinoid system, affecting every physiological process, including appetite, regulation of mood, and perception of pain. My journey in developing integrative approaches to health and wellness began with a strong emphasis on mind-body interactions. And when I began studying cannabis in 1968, in my senior year at Harvard Medical School, I learned that it is capable of producing an extraordinary range of effects. This work was conducted 2 decades before the endocannabinoid system was discovered. Since that time, science has continued to confirm what experience has told us for centuries. With the evidence presented in this informative guide, the value and utility of cannabis as medicine becomes even clearer. It is my strong hope that the work of Michael Bax and other like-minded professionals will inspire further rational and scientific approaches to cannabis, steer us away from the political agenda that has made it difficult for patients to access the benefits of this useful plant, and continue to guide the medical community to use it intelligently. Andrew Weil. Introduction. In the 3 years since the first edition of this book was published, thousands of research studies have been published about cannabis and the endocannabinoid system. Our understanding of the medical utility of non-intoxicating cannabinoids, such as CBD, has dramatically increased. Today, 29 states allow legal access to medical cannabis, while the use of cannabis as a medicine enjoys unprecedented levels of support throughout the United States. When we consider the arguments against the use of cannabis as a medicine, we must first look at the evidence. What we know is that cannabis is certainly not a panacea, but for specific individuals and circumstances, it is very useful and quite safe. Both advocates and detractors of medical cannabis continue to promote a somewhat shocking range of misconceptions about medical cannabis. Cannabis won't cure every cancer. It does produce side effects, and it is not right for everyone. Before the publication of this book, finding evidence-based information about herbal cannabis medicines often proved challenging. I wrote the book primarily because I needed information on the history of medical cannabis, how to use it appropriately, the different varieties, and the conditions it has successfully treated for my work in California with patients using cannabis under a physician's supervision. This book is not intended to replace professional medical supervision. Anyone contemplating using cannabis as a medicine should seek advice from a doctor. The prohibition of cannabis has unfortunately ensured that a spectacular amount of nonsense about cannabis and its medical uses is taken as fact. In my experience, opponents of medical cannabis remain opponents only until an illness strikes. Numerous times, politicians, judges, and law enforcement officials who suddenly find themselves in need of some cannabis advice have approached me for discreet consultations on behalf of themselves or their loved ones. Since the 1980s, a small coterie of determined scientists and physicians have studied cannabis and its effects. Conducting that work has been arduous in a hostile regulatory environment in which the study of cannabis is severely restricted and often prohibited altogether. But these determined individuals have not only persevered, they have succeeded in greatly broadening our understanding of the plant. Cannabis and cannabis medicine remain a moving target. Every month, new studies further our understanding as to how cannabis works and might be used as a medicine. And our understanding of both the benefits and risks of using cannabis also continues to deepen. Because cannabis does not exhibit the toxicity of drugs such as opioids, dosing cannabis as a medicine tends to be imprecise. A brave group of activists choose to challenge the status quo and demand access to cannabis as a medicine. This book would not exist without the courageous precedent that these activists